WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight at 6 o'clock. Outraged, disappointed, and saddened. These are just a few of the words that a couple of Lowndes County Board of Supervisors told me today after seeing comments in today's commercial dispatch that were made by Board President Harry Sanders. Here's a look at what that comment was. It reads, "In my opinion, they were slaves, and because of that, they didn't have to go out and earn any money. They didn't have to do anything." He also added, "Whoever owned them took care of them, fed them, clothed them, worked them. They became dependent, and that dependency is still there. The Democrats right here who depend on the black vote to get elected, they make them dependent on them." Again, that is a quote from President Harry Sanders to the commercial dispatch. It was in today's paper. I spoke with Supervisor Leroy Brooks and Jeff Smith today in person, and they tell me that they feel Sanders sum up that blacks mean nothing.
It's just simple, and I'll say it. You know, Harry, it's time for you to go home. If you feel that strong about black people, you're sitting at the head of the table, you represent the county in economic development. What if, as he would call it, a liberal entrepreneur read that and wanted to come to Columbus, they would say, what kind of board president that you've got that's leading the charge?
Supervisor Leroy Brooks calls for the resignation of President Harry Sanders. The comments in the commercial dispatch come just one day after Brooks makes a motion to move the Confederate statue from the courthouse to Friendship Cemetery.
He has said things for so long that people have normalized it as this Harry Sanders. And I've always said Harry Sanders has been a good businessman, but he shows no empathy and compassion for people.
The comments, in a nutshell, Brooks says, paints a picture black people mean nothing.
I'm going to have a hard time walking in that boardroom and wanting to interact with Harry Sanders when he's diminished black people to a state of nothingness.
Brooks says no one's going to be talking about the monument on the courthouse lawn or the state flag. Talks will now turn into handling the division that is apparent in our county, he says. Supervisor Jeff Smith says during this time in our nation, this now sets not only the county, but our state back.
To have one of our 5 county officials publicly state his opinion about black people in a negative way puts us behind the 8 ball in terms of being able to, first of all, appear to others as though we're moving forward, but more importantly, to be moving forward. It sets us back quite a bit.
People calling for Harry Sanders' resignation. They're expected to be here on the courthouse lawn tomorrow morning. Now, I spoke with Harry Sanders by phone today, and he told me that he has no comment to the comments that he said to the commercial dispatch. He also added about their opinion piece that they're calling for his resignation. He told me that they should shut down. Supervisor Tripp Harrison, I also spoke with him on the phone today. He said he does not agree with the comments that Harry Sanders made. He also said that he does not believe it's reflective of the entire Lowndes County Board of Supervisors. Harrison, along with John Holloman and Sanders, they voted against removing the Confederate monument here on the courthouse grounds. They voted against moving that. I also tried to call John Holloman. We've not heard back from him yet. Reporting live in Lowndes County, Scott Martin, WCBI News.
The Columbus City Council is meeting at this hour, and there are a few hot topics on the agenda, including new policies for the police department and Mississippi's state flag. Stephanie Poole is at the meeting. She joins us live from the municipal complex with the latest.
That's right, Joey. In a 5-to-1 vote, Columbus City Councilmen have approved a resolution asking legislators to replace the current state flag. They say the flag has a darkened past and hurt city business. Also mentioned in the meeting is a new use of force policy. Columbus Police Chief Fred Shelton presented a list of rules officers must follow while on duty practicing the civil rights of citizens. In a unanimous vote, the board has approved this motion to begin the new rules effective immediately. I have the full details tonight on WCBI News 9 and 10, but for now, reporting live in Columbus, Stephanie Poole, WCBI News.
State Representative Gary Chisholm is retiring from the legislature. The longtime Republican lawmaker says June 30th will be his last day. He represents District 37, which includes portions of Lowndes, Oktibbeha, and Clay counties. Chisholm, a Columbus insurance agent, was first elected in 2000 and chaired the Insurance Committee in the House. He cited family health concerns as the reason for his retirement. Governor Tate Reeves will set a special election date to fill the spot. Sales tax revenue numbers are beginning to roll in across the state, and for once, the news is better for small towns than it is for larger cities. Our Cash Matlock joins us live in the studio with more on the story.
That's right, Joey. Starkville, for example, reports a more than 13% drop in sales tax revenue for the month of April. And that, by the way, is actually much better than projected. However, the city of Houston says it has experienced a record high for the same month. The city of Houston is in the middle of their new downtown beautification project. Projects like this depend on city resources. Some of those resources stem from things like sales tax revenue. After the coronavirus pandemic, the initial thought was that these types of resources for the city could be lower than previous years.
Like everybody, we were really scared that the numbers were going to be down tremendously because of this COVID outbreak. Sean Johnson is the executive director of the Chickasaw Development Foundation. He says this year the county's tax sales revenue is at a record high. We had a 26% increase in our sales tax for the month of April. Area businesses say this is because people are choosing to stay home and shop local instead of traveling to larger cities.
The first 2 weeks was slow doing the curbside, but after that, I mean, it was just like as if we was open. 400, 300 tickets, I mean, nothing, it was booming. Nobody wants to travel, and then, I mean, everybody loves Noe Jose, everybody loves the waitresses, the people. It's just a good atmosphere here.
Johnson says because of the positive numbers, the city will be able to move forward with renovations for the downtown square.
We're redoing our downtown with new sidewalks. We've got a couple of new ordinances that we're putting into place, sign ordinances, and keeping through traffic of big trucks out of downtown. So these are meant to beautify and make the square a more pedestrian-friendly place.
If all goes well, the project should be complete by the upcoming holiday season.
The holiday shopping and the Christmas parades and all that, that's kind of when we're wanting to see people see a brand new downtown, or at least see it on the horizon.
Johnson says he hopes Houston residents will continue to shop local.
It's incumbent upon small towns to up their game. Make themselves a place that people want to visit, and make themselves a place that people want to shop, and that's what we're working on here in Houston.
Well, the city is also working to bring power lines and utility cables underground in the near future.
Now, overall, smaller towns did see more sales tax collections than larger cities in the viewing area. In the Golden Triangle, West Point was the only town to see an increase from this time last year. And these numbers from the Mississippi Department of Revenue, the Clay County town was up more than $46,000. Columbus saw a $118,000 drop, and you heard about Starkville. Well, there are the numbers, an $83,000 drop from this time last year. And comparing years, Tupelo was down more than $289,000. But business at restaurants in Starkville could soon be spilling out into the streets. It's part of a new dining option called Streetside Cafe. Starkville city leaders are deciding whether to allow restaurants to set up tables in their parking lots to serve patrons outdoors. Our Quentin Smith speaks with a local business about what this could mean for them. He joins us live in the studio to explain.
Yeah, Joey, one restaurant owner tells me that due to the coronavirus, some people are still reluctant to dine inside his establishment. That's why he's in favor of this proposal, because it'll give customers a more comfortable dining option while also giving his business an extra boost. Pretty soon, workers at Moe's Original Barbecue could go from their normal routine of serving customers inside the restaurant to having an outdoor venue. The Streetside Cafe is something owner Kyle Hebert is definitely in favor of.
We're excited about it, especially with restaurants being at half capacity. Any extra seating is always a good thing.
Hebert says he thinks this addition could be a revenue generator for his restaurant and bring more foot traffic to the downtown area.
That's one of the big sellers, is if you have outdoor seating or not. We don't have any. All of our seating is indoors right now. So the addition of this, I think, would help out dramatically.
According to the proposal, only Moe's Original Barbecue, 929 Coffee Bar, and Restaurant Tyler will be able to take part in this temporary street-side cafe.
So we're taking about 9 parking places and making them into an area that can be bounded by planters and some blocks that are colorful. And inside that area, we would put a small tables and chairs and umbrellas.
Mayor Lynn Spruill says all 3 restaurants will share the 9 spaces, which consists of parking places spanning from Moe's Original Barbecue all the way down to Restaurant Tyler.
I expect it to be impactful in the sense that it's new. And people like to see new things, and it's kind of different, and so I think that it will be a positive thing.
In the event, city leaders approve this plan. Abear says his staff is already thinking about ways to adapt to this new dining option.
Generally, we're fast casual. You come in, you order at the counter. We don't have a wait staff, but we might implement a wait staff for people sitting outside and start doing things like that that aren't in our normal day-to-day operations right now.
Now, Mayor Lynn Spruill says Moe's Original Barbecue, 929 Coffee Bar, and Restaurant Tyler have all expressed interest in being a part of the Streetside Cafe. Now, for now, it's strictly for downtown businesses, but there could be a possibility that this idea could eventually spread to other areas. The board will vote on this matter during tonight's meeting.
Well, eating outdoors today anywhere across the region, absolutely amazing. We've got current temperatures under a partly cloudy sky. In the low 80s, the wind fairly light. Those clouds will be going away. And you can see with our visible satellite, a lot of them already are. So clear skies setting up for this evening. As we mentioned, a lot of us in the low 80s currently. What a great evening that will be developing here. Our forecast, low 60s, maybe even a few upper 50s again. Clear, quiet, and comfortable. Dry air in place, and that just means another great night. We'll just do it again tomorrow, your Wednesday. Look at this, partly cloudy skies, mid-80s, more or less. We will be warming things up by the weekend, and we will usher in more humidity. More on that in your 7-day coming up.
A Shannon High School football player collapses during practice this morning and passes away. The Lee County School District released a statement saying the 16-year-old Kaishan Cooper was taken to a Tupelo hospital after collapsing. District administrators called the practice routine. Coroner Carolyn Green says an autopsy is being performed and is routine in these types of situations. Cooper was a rising sophomore on the team. A man is killed after being hit by a vehicle last night in Verona. The accident happened at the intersection of Raymond Avenue and 8th Avenue. Lee County Coroner Carolyn Green says the 49-year-old died after being hit. Verona police are investigating the crash. Churches that have been empty since March are now filling up again. We take a look at the revival of Sunday services when we come back. Welcome back, everyone. Churches in Mississippi are starting to meet face-to-face again, but under strict health guidelines. WCBI's Bobby Martinez talks to 2 pastors about the revival of in-person services after months of empty sanctuaries. He joins us live in the studio.
Joey, things have been going smoothly overall, but there are still some challenges, and they are doing all they can to make sure everyone remains safe while listening to the good word. Uncharted territory.
The transition has been challenging.
But with the plan in place,
it was more about let's get together and let's just figure this out together.
Churches in Mississippi are reopening in the wake of COVID-19, and there is a mixture of excitement and caution.
We still have a number of people in our churches who are concerned about coming back, who are concerned about the safety of coming back. Not only our senior adults and many of them who have health issues, but parents with small children as well.
Calvary Baptist Church reopened for the first time in months last week, and the church's pastor, Dr. Joe Wiggins, tells us the early numbers were low.
We had about 1/4 of our congregation that came back for our in-person service. But I anticipate that we're going to see that slowly increase. Other churches who are already a little bit ahead of us have already seen their attendance kind of creep up a little bit.
At First Christian Church, Pastor Eric Ross says COVID-19 has not only had an effect on services in the sanctuary, but also service outside of the walls.
When will we have our ministries that we have going to the community? Because right now, I mean, we normally feed the elderly twice a month, and we're not able to do that. you know, and we have a ministry where we go to the nursing home, and there's a gentleman that does that every Sunday and leads songs and has a lesson, and he's not able to do that.
But as the writer of Ecclesiastes said, to everything there is a season.
If you're on the edge, stay home. But if you're ready to go out and start to interact with places and do things, then you're ready to come to church. We need to meet together. The church needs each other as the body of believers. And so if you're ready to come, and we're ready for you.
Most churches have been doing their best to keep members informed, but if you have any questions or concern about your church, you should call them up.
All right, well, Keith, another sunny day, and we got a few more on the way.
We do, and the temperatures will be going on up. Father's Day?
Yeah, it's right around the corner.
Right around the corner. Look at this, warm and steamy, maybe hotter outside than that cup of coffee for Dab. 94 degrees, that's the forecast. Can't rule out a stray storm, but a lot more humidity. Your full forecast is next.
AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
All right, the tropical Atlantic hurricane season is already underway. We've already had 3 storms. Right now, we have no activity, no system budding out there in the open waters. We actually have a dry layer of air coming off Africa, and there's some dust, some sand that will help to continue to suppress tropical development. So right now, we're home free as far as the tropics are concerned. That, of course, will likely change later on, but right now, let's just savor the quiet weather. Much like this in Tupelo today, nice and quiet. We've had some friendly cumulus clouds build on up across the region, but these really develop more horizontally than vertically. That just is a sign of a very stable air mass, and some of these gentle clouds drifting on through. That was a view at Durham's Pharmacy in Vernon. So we've got some low and mid 80s across the region, warmer in Dallas at 92, but sticking out like a sore thumb, Charlotte, 59 degrees in the Carolinas, 50s and 60s today. They've had some record low high temperatures today underneath this area of low pressure. Now, we've been on the back side of it. We've seen some clouds, but we're getting a dry northeasterly flow, so we will remain pretty good for the near term. We're watching that front way out there across the northern Rockies. That will approach early next week. That really will help to instigate our next best chance for any widespread shower and thunderstorm activity, probably Monday and Tuesday. But tomorrow, your Wednesday, sunny at 7 o'clock, 65 by midday, 81, 86 at 4 o'clock, upper 70s tomorrow evening for you. In Coffeyville, Oakland, Water Valley, Yalobusha County, we're looking great, mid-80s for you out that way, and really across the board across northeast Mississippi and west Alabama. So this evening, those clouds go away, and it looks like we'll have temperatures by late this evening in the 60s. Some of you could briefly dip into the upper 50s tonight, but more low 60s than anything else. Some of those clouds will bubble up tomorrow, much like today. We're looking at highs in the 80s, quiet tomorrow night. And as we roll on into your Thursday, probably more of the same. But the humidity will be a little bit more noticeable by Friday and the weekend as our temperatures start to warm back up. So 86 tomorrow, comfortable tomorrow night, pushing 90 Thursday, 92 Friday, 94 Saturday and Sunday. Summer officially begins Saturday afternoon, just in time with that heat and humidity. As we mentioned, there will be a chance for some storms early next week, Monday and Tuesday, highs around 90. That rain chance about 50%. Overnight lows getting back into the low 70s. So that is a taste of those muggies coming on back, Joey.
All right, well, the Bulldogs signs a contract, and we'll tell you more about it coming up in sports.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
The longest tenured head coach in SEC baseball will continue to add to his resume. Ole Miss locking up Mike Bianco for the foreseeable future. Athletic Director Keith Carter announcing Ole Miss and Bianco have agreed to a 4-year contract extension. That's the maximum allowed for the state of Mississippi. Bianco has become the program's all-time leader in wins in 20 seasons with Ole Miss. Bianco led the Rebels to a 16-1 start in 2020 before the season was cut short and was named the National Coach of the Year by Collegiate Baseball. Starkville native Tyson Carter's time at Mississippi State came to an abrupt halt after senior night, but the Bulldog guard's basketball career isn't coming to an end there. Carter signing a professional contract to join the Lavrio Aegean Cargo Basketball Club located in Larium, Greece. Carter enjoyed a career year in his senior season at Mississippi State, setting career highs in minutes per game, points per game, and assists per game. That's it for sports. We'll be back right after the break.
We are sitting pretty for the rest of the work week into most of the weekend, too. Temperatures go up, humidity goes up by the weekend, Joey, and that will give rise to some storms next week.
94. We're going to have to remember what that feels like.
It's
plus humidity.
Yeah, right. It's coming back.
All right. Thanks, Keith. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a great night.